Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to WWTA News. Welcome back. We've got a lot of important things to get through today. Bear with me because I'm going to try to get through all this stuff. So, this video might be a little long, but trust me, get to the end. You want to get all the information because it's important. And yes, some information might sound like it's down in the dumps, but it's not. It's not. So, anyways, look. Before we get started, don't hesitate to hit that like button. And also, if you're returning to this channel and you've yet to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any family, friends, or loved ones who you think could use any of this information, feel free to share the link to the channel to them so they can get informed just as you are. Now, let's go. Go where? To the news. All right, first article, Gilbert Verdian on digital asset regulations. Quant founder and CEO Gilbert Verdian spoke to Rosemary Miller at Forbes on how Europe is leading the race to develop regulatory frameworks for crypto and digital assets. That's funny. Wait till we get to the end. But that's funny. Europe, really? Is that what y'all leading the race? Come on. Oh, whatever. The Financial Stability Board is set to release plans on global crypto regulation that impact how the G20 countries will approach decentralized finance. These proposals are meant to include rules for digital currencies, stablecoins, and companies that provide services to the new financial sector. Just take all that in. Take all that in. I know a lot of you that are on this channel checking this video out, you've probably been on a lot of channels and you're well aware that yes, this is the new financial system. So there's no point in preaching because you all know it, but use this video to help bring those that you love, close friends and all, into the space. Because here, look at that, it says it right there. It says it. See, Europe is admitting, hey, this is the new financial sector. It's right there. The G20, hey, this is the new financial sector. Wow. So look, use this information to help people understand. That's what these videos are for anyway. It's useful information to help people understand exactly what you're trying to tell them. And you don't have to dig up the information because the video's got the information. You just share the video to them. Continuing, it says, whilst some markets within the G20, such as Europe, with its markets in crypto assets, MICA proposal, have rules in place, the United States is still debating on the regulations and relevant oversight bodies in Congress and risk falling behind. I know they talk that all the time, but that's really not. The United States is not going to fall behind. That's crazy talk. That's not going to happen. And yes, the United States is going to make sure that they have the right people in place to manage a lot of things. And so I'll say this for everybody that says, oh, we don't need legislation and all that crazy talk. Stop. You do. You do need legislation. You need regulation. And if you're going to say, oh, but that means they're going to tax me. Well, come on. This ain't nothing new. We already understand how this works. Oh, but they're being an overpowered government. Look, go back in the time of kings and queens. Okay, this is nothing new. There's always taxes paid. Come on, this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. So don't use that as an excuse. Oh, they're going to track everything I do. Don't use that. Just no. That's not. You need these things. You truly need them because a lot of people are getting scammed out of their money. Look at what's going on with Celsius. I want you all to think about this. If you had any money sitting in Celsius when all this stuff went down, guess what? You know for a fact you can't get that money out. It's frozen, right? Look at what's going on with Celsius. They're filing bankrupt. They might be forced to auction off their assets. And I don't know if they can do this and I don't know if they will do this, but technically if you have money with them, technically that's theirs. You left it in their custody, right? So I don't know if they can even do that. Hopefully they can't do that. And hopefully, I'm sorry, that this has happened if your money's in there because I've got money there too. Hopefully you'll get it back because I'd like to get my money back. But let's just think about this. You can't have all this stuff operating with no legislation and regulation. You can't, because crazy things like this will happen where people are getting scammed, people are losing their money, people are being hacked. All these things will happen. So trust me, you want legislation and regulation. You really do. But let's continue. Gilbert explains, you've got forward-thinking jurisdictions like Europe and Switzerland, for example, who are very clear on different types of crypto assets. And now, recently, with the EU, you've got MICA, where it's really defining what a crypto asset means and what a crypto asset service provider needs to do across the market to serve and sell to customers and to businesses. Retail market and to businesses. I think what it means for the U.S. is really, I think what it means for the U.S. is really to play catch up. Um, I mean, so we know what happened with what is this? Verifone, the Verifone point of sales machines last year. In 2021, if you go back in time, see some of the older videos. In 2021, December, Verifone had to make sure that all of their point of sales machines in stores across the United States were running the software and able to receive cryptocurrencies for payment within their software. They had to have all that done by the close of business at the end of December 2021. I'm not sure if they got it all done, but I know that's what the deadline was, to make sure those machines were there ready to accept crypto payments. So, hello, the United States is behind. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. And let's not forget, even though they tell you about the United States testing cryptocurrencies and digital assets, oh, they're just now doing that. That's a lie, because back in 2019, when they started talking about FedNow, it was 2019 or 2020. I think it was 2019. They started talking about, oh yeah, we're going to do FedNow. They admitted, while saying that they were going to do FedNow, that they had already had been running a test run on the software with people. So they had already been running that system. So no, the United States is not behind. This is smoke and mirrors. This is just talk, in my opinion, based on all the stuff that I've read, news articles and all, and the stuff that I've heard from listening to a lot of these people in their meetings that they've aired online. But to continue on the importance of acting now, he says, we're in the middle of the transformation of money. The financial system has the opportunity to evolve something that's fit for purpose for the next 30 to 40 years. Having intelligence built into digital assets into traditional assets, such as securities, and also money is transformational. That's a lot that they're saying there. They're saying a lot. I mean, traditional assets, we know those, talking about the bond market. They're talking about stocks, right? Shares of a company, and they're talking about bonds, contracts, debt contracts, right? That has to mature, which means that at some point in time, the contract has to be fulfilled or completed, which means that the person holding that contract is going to receive the money from that debt. So, you know, what do they tell for the next 30 to 40 years? It's going to go longer than that. But this is going to be the system that guarantees things. You can't hide anything. Nothing's going to be secretive. It's all going to be publicly on the ledger. So, yeah, keep your eyes on all this. Keep your eyes on it. Now, we've got a news article from AP. It says, Japan steps up push to get public to buy into digital IDs. Don't be shocked. And continue the video with me. Don't just get out of this video, because all this stuff ties into something I'm going to read at the end. So don't be shocked. And you're going to get all your information right here and right now. Don't be shocked. And if you got to use this video to help your friends, family, and loved ones understand, use the video and don't be shocked. But let's go ahead and read this article. It goes on to say, Tokyo, Japan has stepped up its push to catch up on digitization by telling a reluctant public they have to sign up for digital IDs or possibly lose access to their public health insurance. That's right, they're touching you publicly with this. There's nowhere to go. You can't escape it. You're going digital. Right? You're going to have all of your information digitally set up so that it's traceable and trackable. Not that anybody wants to know every little thing you're doing, but this is going to make the old system disappear and a new digital system come into being. All right. It goes on to say, as the naming implies, the initiative is about assigning numbers to people similar to social security numbers in the United States, right? That's your business ID number, right? We all know here in the United States, if you want to conduct business in the United States, you need either what is an EIN, business ID number, or you need a social security number, which you get from being a citizen, which is a business owner operator in the United States. You can't do business without a social security number. So as a citizen, they give you this after you're born. They give you a social security number, which is an identifier, and it allows you to conduct business with the United States, which is how they get all their tax money from you, yada, da, da, da. And it's also how you receive benefits at the time of retirement or if you become disabled, right? You're putting in work for the big company, which is the United States, and that's your company employee ID number, your social security number. Woo! Did you say a lot right there? I did, but most of you should have known that already. No shocker. No shocker. But let's get this. As the naming implies, the initiative is about assigning numbers to people similar to Social Security numbers in the United States. Many Japanese worry the information might be misused or that their personal information might be stolen. Some view the My Number effort as a violation of their right to privacy. So this one's going to hurt, and I know it's going to hurt because it's shocking when you first find out, but most of you viewers aren't going to be shocked because you already found out. As a United States citizen or as a citizen in any country, right? A citizen, city of peace, a city of protection, right? Usually walls are bound up to protect those people within those walls. So if you're being protected usually by a national guard, a nation guard, right? The only military for those citizens being the National Guard or the Guard of the Nation, right? Just say the word the way it needs to be said. Don't say National Guard, say Guard the Nation, and then it makes sense, right? Guard the nation. What's the nation? The United States, right? The citizens, the city, the people in the city that want peace. So because you want that, and because you're operating within their borders or their walls, even though there's not physical walls, the walls are their financial system and their legal system. That's what you're operating in as a citizen with a social security number and using your birth certificate as a right, born here as a right to have that social security number. Whew, that's a lot. Say it, say it, say it. So because you want to use that social security number, that gives you the benefits of the citizen because that gives you your citizenship. So as a citizen with those benefits, you do have those protections. But at the same token, just like you have those protections, you truly can't say you're violated because technically you belong to the United States. It sucks. I know it, but hey man, that's the people that are protecting you. That's the nation that protects you, right? The United States. You're under them. So yeah, if you think that your personal information shouldn't be violated by the people that protect you, you're wrong. You're wrong. And this even goes to the mindset of being separate, right? Some people call it sovereign or whatever, right? It means to be separate, right? Indivisible, standing on its own, separate of, right? So if you're not separate from the United States or citizenship, then you're not, you know what I'm saying? And so then you're not afforded the protections, which means that, say for instance, if somebody wants to come yank you up, the United States, you don't belong to them. You're not a citizen, so they don't have to fight for you, protect you, or pull you out. They don't have to do anything for you. Look, we're going to stop there because I can really go deep with that. And this discussion gets ugly when you really start to pick apart. And I'm not going to pick it apart. I'm just going to deal with this article. But it just says, here that some view the My Number effort as a violation of their right to privacy. You don't have privacy. You're a citizen. So let's move along. All right, it says, so the system that kicked off in 2016 has never fully caught on. Fax machines are still commonplace, and many Japanese conduct much of their business in person with cash. Some bureaucratic procedures can be done online, but many Japanese offices still require inkan, or seals for stamping, for identification, and insist on people bringing paper forms to offices. Aren't you all glad as a citizen of the United States you don't have to do that? Woo! That's crazy, right? Here we are in 2022, ready to go into 2023, and we're like, yeah, we don't really want to do all that. Can't we just fax some information to you, or can't we just email you, right? Can't we just fill out a document online on your website and just get it done? Yeah, that's the easy road, right? Says now the government is asking people to apply for plastic My Number cards equipped with microchips and photos to be linked to driver's licenses and the public health insurance plans. Health insurance cards now in use, which lack photos, will be discontinued in late 2024. People will be required to use My Number cards instead. And it's not a big deal. Once they get to using it, it'll become common practice, and like they won't pay it no mind. Every time something new comes into existence, it's scary because you don't know anything about it, and you can see all the. We always want to see the wrong first, and that's a people thing. And it's something we all have to work on as people, but we always want to see the wrong or the bad first. We don't ever want to see the good. And that's because we're used to being wronged. Obviously, we're used to being wronged, right? So it's going to take some learning and some changes from all people and governments to get through this and move forward. You're always going to have bad where you have good regardless. So that's never going to change. So yeah, that concludes that. Next article. Singapore molds ban on letting retail investors buy crypto with leverage. Interesting. Singapore's financial watchdog has proposed restrictions on the use of credit or leverage when trading cryptocurrencies. The rules would stop any crypto firms from extending credit or leverage to retail customers and would prevent them from accepting payments via credit cards. These rules would not apply to institutional investors. Yeah, so some of these exchanges want to offer you $50 to $100 of a credit line to get involved in investing and trading with them. And of course, the game plan is for you to lose it, but for you to bring your own money in and invest it. And so, yeah, that exists. And then on the flip side, some people take their credit cards and they go buy cryptos with it. And then they mess around and get crypto that's on a pump and dump. And then it pumps real high. And then 2 seconds after it pumps real high, it gets dumped. And then they lost all that money that they pulled out of that they used credit on. Let's say, for instance, you bought, I don't know, $2,500 worth of something on your credit card in the crypto space, and then it was pumped and dumped, and it made like $7, $8, $9, $10,000. You're like, ooh, how much higher can it go? Yes, I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna get rich. And you just wait for that money to go up, and it's gone. Zero. You've got nothing. You're like, wait, what? What happened? It's gone. So you just imagine you did $2,500 or whatever you did, and then boom, that's gone. You still owe that credit card debt. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, this makes sense, and this is where legislation comes in. I'm telling you, people, you need legislation and regulation. But to continue, it says the proposals put forth by the Monetary Authority of Singapore (MAS) are part of a basket of new measures aimed at mitigating the risk of consumer harm. See, there it is. And educating consumers on the risk of cryptocurrencies and their related services. These measures outlined in a consultation also include suggestions that providers should be forced to assess that a retail customer has sufficient knowledge of the risk of crypto-related services, covering issues like illiquid market conditions, cybersecurity, and technology failure before providing any service to that customer. And so these things are being brought out now to where you have to take a little mini survey test to see if you can even get involved in some of these things. And they're basically making sure before you get in here and spend money, you know what you're doing. Because if you don't, it's best that they don't let you just jump in. You must need to go learn a little bit more before you get into the space. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I know, devil's advocate, people are going to say, you can't tell me I can't get into something because I don't know about it, and that's the only barrier that you have. You're going to make more barriers if that one doesn't work because you just don't want me in the space. Again, I know things always look bad at first, but if you think about just find out some of these horrible stories about people that have lost so much money in this space. They've been scammed. Hustled. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, is this a bad thing? Actually, no. I really think if retailers, common people like you and me, are going to get into space, we need to know what we're getting into, right? It's just like getting into stocks. If you don't understand the stock market, what are you really getting into? That's what you send money out of your paycheck and you don't even think about it into the 401k because those people know what they're doing. And so that money gets invested and it grows and so on and so forth. But you don't know, you don't get in that space, you just put your money there. So if that's the case, you need to find a broker firm that'll do that for you as well. In which case, some of these things do exist. You do now have what Fidelity got into the space. So you can open up a 401k, I guess, with them or a retirement fund with them, and then they'll invest in the space for you. You know what I'm saying? It says many retail customers may not have sufficient knowledge of the risk of trading digital payment tokens, DPTs, leading them to take on higher risk than they would otherwise have been willing or are able to bear, said the paper. If consumers fail to display adequate knowledge when assessed, providers may then be forced to provide educational materials to the customer to strengthen the customer's knowledge of the risk of crypto services. That's great. That's great. That needs to be done. I know a lot of you might be saying, no, you're crazy. I can do this. This ain't about you and only you. This is about other people that are getting into this space and they might not understand what they're getting into. So this is major. And all of these exchanges need to be doing something like this. It continues to say the MAS also proposed that providers should not mortgage, charge, pledge, or hypothecate the retail customer's crypto. Hypothecation refers to the process of using an asset as collateral in exchange for a loan. And Celsius was doing that, and we understand what's going on with Celsius right now. So, I don't know. Just do the math. You needed this type of stuff. For institutional or professional customers, service providers could be forced to provide a clear risk disclosure document and obtain the customer's explicit consent before providing staking services. Just letting you know, when you stake with us, there's always the potential chance that you could lose it all. We could be hacked. We can have our stuff stolen, just like you can, because it's all in one spot. And the markets are subject to change at any moment. It's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you want them to do this. Moving along, next article. Crypto traders see 786 million in liquidations as the Fed hike speculation eases. Traders going long and short on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies were hit by over 786 million in liquidations on Thursday. That's a lot. The liquidations came as crypto prices shot up in line with broader financial markets. Bitcoin hurtled past 20,000 for the first time since October 6th. Crypto stocks were also buoyed as Coinbase shares climbed over 12%. Crypto traders suffered 686 million in short liquidations on Tuesday. According to the block's data dashboard, markets hadn't seen short liquidations totaling over 200 million since September 9th, when 287 million in shorts were liquidated. Yeah, I mean, a liquidation is never really a good thing because it means it's pulling money out of the market. And in order for us to be successful in this market, we need the crypto market to have money in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Continuing. Next article. Monetary Authority of Singapore proposes new measures to regulate crypto and stablecoins. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, published two consultation papers via its official website on October 26th, highlighting regulatory measures for implementation, application to digital payment token services, and stablecoin issuers. The paper is based on the premise that crypto assets are inherently speculative and highly risky, and comes after the MAS idea of imposing an outright ban on the sector, according to the watchdog. Yeah, I wouldn't say the ban is necessary. I would just say that these people need to know what they're getting into, because the markets can be very volatile, because it's based on, the majority of retailers and businesses moving money in and out. It says currently digital assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, Ripple, and Zcash, and stablecoins such as USDT and USDC are treated as digital tokens, tokens under the Payment Service Act of 2019's public service announcement. Yeah. DPT service providers are regulated primarily for money laundering and are you serious? DPT service providers are regulated primarily for money laundering and terrorism financing, technology risk, and the obligation to provide risk warning disclosure to customers. Okay, that's a lot to swallow. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? So, normal currencies are used for terrorism. So let's just stop. This is actually madness. It's like you're pointing the finger, but you're not telling the whole truth. You're telling the part that you want to tell because it works best for you. So this is kind of like a one-sided article. It's like a one-sided article. It's just terrible. But that's the type of stuff that happens. So whatever. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So let's get into this ISO strategic business plan. And this is going to help tie everything together. So we're going to start moving through this. It says blockchain technology holds immense promise to revolutionize not only the financial domain, but a whole host of things from societal inclusion to efficiencies in government, health, and all areas of business. ISO/TC307 blockchain and distributed ledger technologies has been set up to meet the growing need for standardization in this area by providing internationally agreed ways of working with it to improve security, privacy, and facilitate worldwide use of the technology through better interoperability. This is especially relevant due to the number of SMEs across various sectors that are developing blockchain and distributed ledger technologies as a as a product. So clearly here they're letting you know that they need this to fix some issues, right? They need this one for societies to be included because you have what they call unbanked people. And there's a lot of people in the United States that are not banked. Let's just be real. They don't use banks. They still cash checks in stores and pay those retarded fees to cash a check and take cash out with them. So that exists. Yeah, there's some issues in government, right? And I would say we can talk about taxes. Once you got to do that on a blockchain, it's a done deal. Health in all areas of business. So there's definitely use, major use for cryptos, especially those fitted for the ISO system in this space. And it says the scope of ISO TC 307 reads standardization of blockchain technologies and distributed ledger technologies. As of March 13th, 2018, the standardization work of ISO/TC307 has been divided into 6 groups: foundations, security, privacy, and identity, smart contracts and their applications, use cases, governance, and of course, interoperability. Goes on to say they produce a set of international standards and reports that will encourage adoption of blockchain and DLT and support innovation, governance, and development in the industry. These international standards and reports will include topics that support both cross organization, cross border usage scenarios. The committee aims to have these international standards and reports available no later than 2021. So they're available. All this stuff is available, but we gotta get to the end of the video to get to the other article, right? Let's continue. So this one says, if you're just trying to understand the volume of electronic transactions generally to an order of magnitude, it is in the quadrillions of dollars per year. And so here we're talking about Swift, right? Because Swift uses the old messaging system and now they're using this new one, which is the ISO / what do we see, TC307. So that's where they're going. And so this is going to help us understand why Swift needs this and why they're using it. It says, if you're just trying to understand the volume of electronic transactions generally to an order of magnitude, it's in the quadrillions of dollars per year. According to this document from the U.S. Treasury, Swift handles about $5 trillion per day, or given about 250 business days per year, about $1.25 quadrillion a year. So, wow, I stand corrected. Swift moves $5 trillion per day through their old messaging system, okay? Now it says similar chips handles about 400 trillion per year, and Fedwire handles around 900 trillion per year. Most of both of these arise out of Swift messages. These transactions make up a large fraction of electronic transactions in the world, so it's safe to assume that the global total isn't much more than a few quadrillion dollars a year. The following cryptocurrencies are ISO 20022 compliant as of this writing. And this is an older writing. I just brought it out so you all can see it and understand, because all these things go together. This ISO system. So these are the currencies that currently run on that messaging system. So you have Stellar Lumens, which is XLM, Hedera Hashgraph, which is HBAR, IOTA, MIOTA, the XDC network, which is XDC, Ripple's network that they have, they don't really own it, or but I don't know, I don't even know how to word that, but XRP, of course it's its own chain, it doesn't need Ripple, but it is XRP. Algorand, which we know is Algo, and Quant, QNT. So ISO systems, these are ISO systems that are ready and running and ready to go. So keep that in mind as you continue to dig through all this information. Now, the last article to bring it all home, we're going to close with this one right here. It says, now, first off, we were all expecting Swift to get everybody in line as of November 1st, 2022. And yes, I've been saying that, yeah, they got to do that, but, we'll probably see some money go up. But I'm expecting the year of institutions to be 2023. Well, it looks like that's where the major growth is going to be. Well, we already were expecting the major growth to be in 2023, but this article is going to bring it on home for us. It says Swift accepts community requests to start ISO 20022 migration in March 2023. There it is. Swift has worked extensively with its global community to prepare for the start of the ISO 20022 migration for cross-border payments and reporting. And since August, all required capabilities have been deployed and institutions have been able to exchange ISO 20022 messages on an opt-in basis. So since August, businesses have already gotten into this space as an opt-in. Now, not a lot, because you didn't see that market cap, jump through the roof like crazy, but that's coming. Bear with me. On the 20th of October 2022, the ECB shared its decision delaying the ISO 20022 migration of the Euro system by 4 months in light of the announcement and in line with our earlier scenario planning. Swift committed to further analyze and validate impacts on the timeline for CBPR, with a view to maintaining operational and business continuity across the global financial system. An overwhelming majority of our global community has requested that Swift align the start of the global ISO 20022 migration for CBPR with the ECB's updated timetable to ease implementation. In response, we have taken a decision to accommodate this request, and Swift will begin the ISO 20022 MT coexistence period for all users on March 20th, 2023. So all users will now have the ability to go up to March 2023 before inevitably they have to switch to this new messaging system, okay? And we all know it's ISO. We just saw that in the last articles. Bring it all home. You can see what's going on. At the same time, it is clear from our community feedback that there is a strong momentum across the industry to implement and gain value from ISO 20022 rich data, so the revised encouraged to continue preparation for the 20th of March start date and consider all potential scenarios in their planning to ensure readiness for the start of ISO 20022 coexistence for CBPR from that date. Institutions that would like to realize the benefit of rich data sooner can continue to exchange ISO 20022 messages on an opt-in basis. It says extensive resources to assist Swift customers with their ISO 20022 readiness are available, along with a list of facts on this updated timeline. So yes, we were all waiting for November 1st, but fret and fear not. Even though they're not forcing everybody's hand, all these banks' hands by November, they still have till March. And so under what I'm reading and under my understanding, because there are already companies involved in this space, we're just going to see more companies growing to get into this space, and we're going to see a steady increase as they get into this space of these currencies growing in value, because they need these currencies to conduct these particular business transactions. So I told you this might be a long video. I'm glad you got to the end. Don't lose faith just because don't get down in the dumps because we're not going to see this immediate forcible change November 1st. No. There's still banks and institutions that are still doing it now. The only thing you're hearing mainly is that Europe is not ready, and I believe a few other countries might not be prepared to get this thing up and running. They're still working on things in-house. So as of March, we will see all the banks have to come in line and use this messaging system. It's great, got long-winded. That's all the information I got. I hope you found all this stuff useful, and I hope you can use it to help get your family, friends, and loved ones involved in this space. And I will catch you all in the next episode.